Compliance requirements in a pharmaceutical company. Hello and welcome to this in-depth session on compliance requirements in pharmaceutical companies. Now, when you hear the word compliance, what comes to mind? For many people, compliance feels like rules, regulations, restrictions, and sometimes even unnecessary paperwork. But in pharmaceuticals, compliance is so much more. Compliance is the backbone of patient safety. It is the bridge between scientific innovation and patient trust. If we think about it, every single pill, vaccine, or injection we see in hospitals and pharmacies is the result of a complex chain of compliance checks that begin in the laboratory and extend all the way to the patient's bedside. Pharmaceutical companies cannot afford to fail in compliance. The stakes are simply too high. A small error in formulation, a missed test, or a gap in documentation could lead to unsafe medicines reaching patients, product recalls that cost millions, plant shutdowns or import bans, and most importantly, loss of human lives. I am going to take you through every key aspect of compliance in the pharma industry. Together, we will explore 1. What compliance really means in a pharmaceutical setting. 2. Who regulates pharma, the global and local agencies that set the rules. 3. The good practices, GMP, GLP, and GCP that form the pillars of compliance. 4. The critical role of data integrity and documentation. 5. Post-marketing responsibilities like pharmacovigilance. 6. Audits, inspections, and certifications. 7. Common challenges companies face. 8. Best practices that successful organizations follow. By the end, you will not just know the requirements, you will understand why they exist, how they protect patients, and how companies can build a culture of compliance. Section 1. What is compliance? So, let us begin with a simple but powerful question. What is compliance? In basic terms, compliance means following the law, but in the pharmaceutical industry, compliance is broader and deeper. It means following national and international drug regulations, adhering to scientific standards, respecting ethical obligations in clinical research, maintaining transparent, accurate records, ensuring continuous monitoring of products even after launch. In essence, compliance ensures that every medicine is safe, free from harmful contamination or errors. Effective. It actually does what it claims to do. Consistent. Every batch has the same quality as the one before. Let me give you an example. In 2012, a major pharmaceutical company faced global criticism when glass particles were found in vials of an injectable medicine. The investigation showed lapses in their manufacturing controls, a direct compliance failure. The result? Recalls across multiple countries, loss of market share, and lasting damage to their reputation. This shows that compliance is not just about avoiding fines. It is about safeguarding lives and preserving trust. Section 2. Regulatory bodies. Now let's talk about who enforces compliance. Pharma is one of the most heavily regulated industries in the world. There are multiple agencies that companies must answer to, depending on where they operate. US FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in the United States. It regulates everything from drug development to manufacturing to marketing. An FDA approval is considered the gold standard worldwide. EMA, the European Medicines Agency, oversees drug approvals and monitoring in the European Union. MHRA, in the UK, the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, plays a similar role. CDSCO, in India, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, is the main regulatory authority. PMDA, Japan's Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Agency. WHO, the World Health Organization, sets global guidelines and conducts pre-qualification programs, especially important for vaccines and drugs used in developing countries. Here's an interesting point. Even if a company operates in one country, global trade makes compliance international. For example, if an Indian manufacturer wants to export medicines to the US, they must meet FDA standards. If they export to Europe, they must meet EMA standards. Failure to meet these can result in import bans. In fact, in recent years, several manufacturing plants in Asia were barred from exporting to the US due to compliance failures. So compliance is not just local, it is global. A truly compliant pharmaceutical company must understand and meet multiple regulatory requirements simultaneously. Section 3. Good Manufacturing Practices, GMP. The foundation of compliance is good manufacturing practices, or GMP. GMP ensures that medicines are produced consistently and with the highest quality. The WHO defines GMP as a system that ensures products are consistently produced and controlled according to quality standards. Let's break this down. 1. People and training. Only trained and qualified personnel should work in manufacturing. For example, if someone is handling sterile injections, they need specialized training in aseptic techniques. 2. Premises and equipment. Facilities must be clean, controlled, and designed to minimize contamination. Equipment must be properly maintained and calibrated. 3. Processes and procedures. Every process must be validated, meaning tested and proven to consistently produce the expected result. 4. Documentation. The golden rule in pharma is, if it isn't written down, it didn't happen. Batch records, logbooks, test reports, everything must be accurately documented. 5. Quality control. Every batch must be tested. If a batch fails, it cannot be released, no matter how costly the loss. 6. Distribution and storage. Medicines must be stored under defined conditions: temperature, humidity, light protection. For example, vaccines that require cold chain storage must never break that chain. Real-world case study. In 2013, a company in the US recalled over 300,000 bottles of a blood pressure drug because metal fragments were found in the tablets. The root cause? Equipment maintenance failure and lack of process validation, both GMP violations. This shows how even a small gap in GMP can lead to major recalls. Section 4. Good Laboratory Practices, GLP. Now let's move to Good Laboratory Practices, or GLP. GLP governs the non-clinical safety testing of new drugs. Before a drug is tested in humans, it must be tested in the lab, in animals, in chemical assays, in various controlled environments. GLP ensures that the data generated is reliable, reproducible, and traceable. Key elements include standard operating procedures, SOPs, for every lab activity, proper calibration of instruments. Imagine running a toxicity study with an uncalibrated balance. The results would be meaningless. Sample tracking. Every sample must be clearly labeled, stored, and accounted for. Archiving. Raw data, lab notebooks, and reports must be securely archived for future reference. If GLP is not followed, regulators may reject the preclinical data, meaning the drug cannot move to the next stage of trials. After Section 5, Good Clinical Practices, GCP. Once a drug passes the lab stage, it moves into clinical trials. This is where Good Clinical Practices, or GCP, come in. GCP is about protecting human subjects and ensuring that clinical trial data is credible. It includes ethics approval from institutional review boards, informed consent. Patients must fully understand the risks and voluntarily participate. Confidentiality. Patient identities must be protected. Monitoring. Independent monitoring of trial sites ensures compliance. Adverse event reporting. If a volunteer experiences a side effect, it must be documented and reported immediately. Example: in 2006, a clinical trial in London went wrong when 6 volunteers were given an experimental drug. They experienced life-threatening reactions within hours. Investigations revealed gaps in the trial design and monitoring process. Since then, GCP guidelines have become even stricter to prevent such tragedies. Data integrity in pharma. Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about data integrity in the pharmaceutical industry, what it means, why it matters, and what regulators expect. What is data integrity? Data integrity means that data is complete, consistent, and accurate throughout its entire life cycle, from the moment it is created until it is archived or destroyed. In pharma, this is critical, because every decision, whether to release a batch, approve a product, or protect a patient, depends on trustworthy data. Amarhaj, Alcoa Principles regulators explain data integrity through the concept of Alcoa Plus. Let's break that down. A. Attributable data must show who performed the action and when. Example: results signed or linked to a unique user ID. L. Legible records must be readable and permanent. Smudged notes, fading ink, or low-quality scans are not acceptable. C. Contemporaneous data must be recorded at the time the activity is performed, not hours later, not reconstructed. O. Original, keep the original record, or a validated true copy that preserves content and metadata. A. Accurate. The data must reflect the truth, free of errors or manipulation. And the plus adds, complete, consistent, enduring, and available. Together, Alcoa Plus is the gold standard for trustworthy data. Regulatory references. So, what do regulators say? The US FDA has published guidance on data integrity and compliance with GMP. The MHRA in the UK has detailed GXP data integrity guidance. The EMA in Europe has Q&A documents linking data integrity to GMP chapters in Annex 11. And Visa in Brazil has included data integrity principles in its updated GMP resolution. And organizations like PIC-S provide global guidance. Every one of these authorities insists on the same thing: data must be trustworthy. Real-world examples. There have been serious cases where companies failed to protect data integrity. For example, the Ranbaxy case, where data was falsified and backdated. The result? Criminal charges, heavy fines, and lasting damage to reputation. FDA warning letters often cite issues such as deleting failed test runs, using shared logins, disabling audit trails, or recording results when the analyst was not even present. The consequences can include import alerts, product recalls, and even shutdown of facilities. Roles and responsibilities. Now, who is responsible for data integrity? The answer is everyone. Analysts and operators must record data honestly, immediately, and legibly. Supervisors must review data promptly and ensure that raw data supports the results. Quality assurance teams must set policies, conduct audits, and lead investigations. IT and system administrators must maintain secure access, audit trails, and backups. Senior management must foster a culture of transparency and integrity. Even vendors and contract labs must comply with data governance agreements. Data integrity is not one person's job. It is a shared responsibility. Do's and don'ts. Let's make it practical. Do record data immediately in ink or in secure systems. Do use your personal login, never a shared account. Do keep raw data, not just summary reports. Don't backdate or predate entries. Don't overwrite or delete data without proper investigation. Don't approve records without checking the original source data. Simple actions, every day, make the difference. Why it matters. At the heart of all this is patient safety. When data is missing, falsified, or manipulated, the risk is not just regulatory noncompliance. The risk is harm to patients who depend on safe and effective medicines. By following Alcoa Plus principles, by respecting data, we are protecting patients, compliance, and company reputation. Closing, to summarize, data integrity means accurate, complete, and trustworthy records. Follow Alcoa Plus, know your responsibilities, and always do the right thing. Because in pharma, data integrity is life integrity. Case example. In 2015, a major Indian pharmaceutical company faced an FDA import alert because analysts were found deleting failed test results and only saving the passing results. That's a direct data integrity violation. Section 7. Pharmacovigilance and patient safety. Compliance doesn't end with product launch. In fact, the responsibility only increases. Pharmacovigilance means continuously monitoring medicines for safety after they reach the market. Companies must collect reports of side effects, analyze them, and share findings with regulators. If risks emerge, companies may need to update labels or even withdraw products. Think about the painkiller Vioxx. It was approved and widely used, but later linked to heart problems. Its withdrawal in 2004 remains one of the most expensive product recalls in history, all due to patient safety concerns. Section 8. Audits, inspections, and certifications. Regulators and customers regularly audit pharmaceutical companies. Regulatory inspections can be unannounced. Internal audits must be routine to detect problems early. Third-party audits may be required for certifications like ISO or WHO pre-qualification. Companies must always be inspection ready. Section 9. Common compliance challenges. Some common struggles include keeping up with changing regulations across countries, data integrity violations, lack of training among staff, pressure to cut costs leading to shortcuts, weak quality culture. Section 10. Best practices for compliance. To overcome challenges, leading companies build a culture of quality where every employee owns compliance, train staff regularly, invest in digital systems with audit trails, encourage reporting of issues without fear, conduct regular self-inspections, continuously improve processes. Conclusion. Let's close with a key message. Compliance in pharma is not just about laws. It is about ethics, responsibility, and trust. It is about ensuring that every pill, every injection, every drop of medicine improves lives without causing harm. For pharmaceutical companies, compliance is not an option. It is a lifeline for patients and for the company itself. Thank you